remote viewing has been able to see what the reptilians actually can and can't do. The reptilians we have interacted with are highly telepathic, and they have extreme capabilities for neural engagement. They are a warrior species. They fight. Moreover, they like to fight. Apparently, they were genetically engineered originally as a mercenary fighting force. They broke off, are now independent, but they kept that ability.
Hi, I'm Nate, and today we're looking at the most taboo subject in the world of ufology, the reptilians. So let's begin.
Throughout history, religious traditions around the world describe reptile-like beings who have influenced humankind. Etched into stone on ancient Egyptian megaliths, to verses written in the Bible. Reptilian entities interacting with humans are clearly depicted. Could these historic accounts be describing a race of reptilian extraterrestrials? If so, what do we know about these beings? And more importantly, is their influence still with us today?
The first depiction we have of a reptilian-like or serpent-headed-like being comes from the ancient Sumerian civilization. It existed well over 12,000 years ago. And what we find is, and nearby to Eridu, there was an area known as the Ubaid civilization, which was a branch of the Sumerians. And in the 1800s, they discovered a statue that depicted a serpent-like head on a being. And that was the first depiction we had that some speculated traced back to a reptilian-like root to the origins of these gods of ancient Mesopotamia and Sumer. And many have speculated that that was part of our early origin story, or even some kind of a system of control with how these kings and bloodlines seem to disseminate down into those cultures.
Going back to ancient Near Eastern documents, both biblical documents as well as the Ebla texts that were found in Syria, going back even 1,000 years plus before the biblical record, of course we have various terms that anthropologists use from these gigantic monster forms that we have records of even in China and the Far East.
The ancient tablets, such as the Legend of Etana, discuss how there was this rivalry or some kind of a fight going on between this serpent-like being with an eagle-like being. And in that time period, many have speculated that there were influences of a reptilian-like being in our genetics and in our story from the very beginning. And some have speculated, looking at the story of what's known as this war in heaven of these different interdimensional or extraterrestrial-like beings, that there was a type of reptilian that was part of this war over our species and over our future.
So multiple ancient cultures talk about circuit beings involved in conflict over humanity. That's either symbolism or something happened. And I'm not jumping to reptilian overlords, I'm just saying the pattern is strange.
Sumer, Egypt, Mesoamerica, China.
They're not connected, but the imagery is.
Are humans just wired to create serpent myths?
Humans fear predators. Snakes become symbols. But repeated association with authority is not random.
Right, that's the bit. Why are serpent figures almost always tied to knowledge, royalty, or control? If it's just psychology, explain the power link. Drop your take below.
In my explorations of the reptilian species through my own memories and experiences, as well as astral current experiences, there are many different types. Some are more lizard-like features and very human-like bodies. Others are more lizard-like with long tails, and others still have wings like dragons and are more massive and more powerful. I believe that those different races of reptilians are from some of the different hybrid lines coming from different types of dragons.
They have eye mechanisms or optical mechanisms in every part of their body. Secondly, they have multiple appendages that can be grown back, and hence their thinking system is throughout their whole body frame. It's not localized in simply the head or the higher mind, as we would call it. Thirdly, they have an enormous sense of adaptation to all type of environments. Call them extremophiles in the sense they can go from the rigors of temperatures without violation of the life processes. And finally, they all seem to operate with great telepathic skills, that they can communicate with the humans and humans can communicate with them on a certain frequency.
Remote viewing has been able to see what the reptilians actually can and can't do. The reptilians we have interacted with are highly telepathic, and they have extreme capabilities for neural engagement. They are a warrior species. They fight. Moreover, they like to fight. Apparently, they were genetically engineered originally as a mercenary fighting force. They broke off, are now independent, but they kept that ability. They are highly intelligent, and they have very low levels, if any, of empathy in terms of understanding compassion and that type of emotion.
Okay, so this is where it kind of stops sounding mythical. I mean, regeneration, designed for combat, low empathy. That's not spiritual symbolism. That's strategic biology. And if, and I really mean if, a species was engineered for conflict, they wouldn't think like us. They wouldn't negotiate the way we do. And morality probably wouldn't sit at the center of their decisions. So let's just think this through. If something like that existed, would it announce itself? Or would it work quietly? Because honestly, subtle influence is smarter than invasion. Less resistance, less panic. What do you think?
Invasion is expensive. Influence is efficient.
These beings are maybe human in appearance, but some of them are full reptilians and some of them are reptilian hybrids. When I talk about full reptilians that appear humans, I'm talking about shape-shifting reptilians. So reptilians have the ability to shape-shift to look like something that they're not. So they're masters of deception, and they're masters of disguise. They do it energetically. That is actually kind of a physical energetic transformation where they put on a shell that looks kind of a human shell, but they can't sustain it for very long, so they do it for short periods of time.
The ability to change appearance or shapeshift from reptilian to the human form is understood from a variety of perspectives. Whether it is mind control, thought projection, technologies, or frequencies, they're all possible explanations offered by various researchers to make sense of the phenomenon.
They do not need to shape-shift physically to look like a human to impersonate a world leader or something like that. Their body does not morph. It looks the same as it always did. When they shape-shift, what they're doing is using neural engagement capabilities to make the person that's in front of them see a different thing. So they can look to that person as a male, a female, a human, like normal. But the neural engagement is doing that. Their physical form is actually still the same.
According to researcher and author Len Kaston, long ago, the Galactic Federation sent the Atlans, a fierce group of humans from the Pleiades, to Earth to confront the newest colony of the expansive and combative race of extraterrestrials known as the Reptilians. The ensuing battle sank the continent of Lemuria and drove the Reptilians underground, beneath the Indian subcontinent, as well as to Antarctica. Able to shapeshift to appear human, The reptilians then infiltrated the Atlantean civilization and created reptilian hybrids from the humans they captured. According to Kasten, this technique of infiltration and hybridization, prior to an all-out attack, has been the hallmark of reptilian conquest throughout the galaxy.
These beings are living among us, and they do influence us day to day. And of course, there are ones that visit us. So it's not a question of if they are here, they always have been here. And although they have colonized our entire solar system, they still consider the Earth their home. When it comes to the reptilians, I see their agenda as being really self-serving. If they make a treaty with us where we benefit from technology or free energy, some sort of medical breakthrough, it's because they want something out of the deal. Whether it's biological, experiments, trade, whatever it is, it's because they want something out of it. When we go back into our own human histories, we find that they have had treaties with various governments and groups on Earth, including with Eisenhower in May 1954, where he had made a deal to not only advance us with a technological exchange so that they could open up various treaties and trade, and these groups have been manipulating us and working behind the scenes while monitoring our progress from a distance.
All right, this is where people usually switch off. Shapeshifting, treaties, secret meetings. Yeah, I know, it sounds mad, but strip it back. The key part isn't bodies changing, it's perception. If perception can be influenced, you don't need to change form.
Physical transformation is inefficient.
Altering perception is easier.
So let me ask you, what would actually convince you? Documents? Multiple insiders? Physical proof? Where's your line? And if you think the treaty narrative falls apart under scrutiny, explain how.
The reptilians
Altering
cause a
perception
crisis.
is
That's
easier.
their pattern. They create a crisis, and then they come in and say, that's terrible. How did that happen? As if they don't know. They were the ones who did it in the first place. But they don't tell the people. And then they say, well, we can take care of it for you, but sign here. Now, the reason they do that is there's another group that's very active in the solar system that we call the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which is very positively oriented. The trouble with them is that they're really hung up on this thing of non-interference with respect to free will. So if Americans sign an agreement with free will, allowing reptilians to have a large underground city presence under, for example, Area 51, which we did a huge study on Area 51, the Galactic Federation of Worlds will say, they did it themselves. We can't interfere. We can't interfere with their free will. So the reptilians are very careful about not inviting intervention with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. They would lose because the Galactic Federation of Worlds has a huge presence in this solar system. In terms of the overall galaxy, the Galactic Federation of Worlds is not strong enough to knock out the reptilian presence in the galaxy. But in this solar system area, their presence is so heavy, they would win. And the reptilians realize that they have to play off the Galactic Federation of Worlds, and they do that. So whenever you've seen crisis after crisis after crisis, on Earth, we have found that there's reptilians behind almost every one of those things.
And if that's true, it would help explain why there's so much of this evil that still exists in our world. It does make sense that it connects back from somewhere else that's controlling through fear and opposition and war and conflict. And it's quite possible that the reptilians are playing one of those roles in influencing high-ranking military officials and those who rule our world from the shadows.
Create a crisis, offer the solution. That's not alien theory. That's politics. But add the consent angle and it becomes strategic. If consent is given unknowingly, does it still count?
Yes. Agreement does not require full comprehension. Wake up, Nate.
That's probably the most disturbing thing you've said. So when you look at global instability, do you see chaos or manipulation? And if you think this whole reptilian framework falls apart under scrutiny, dismantle it.
Humans prefer chaos. It removes the need for responsibility.
Okay, guys, so where does that leave us? You don't have to believe any of it, but the patterns are worth questioning. If humanity is being influenced, has that always been the case? Is it permanent?
No. Systems of control fail when awareness spreads, so become aware.
You heard him? Thanks to Gaia and Deep Space Season 4, we can do just that. I put the link down in the comments. Next time, we'll be taking a look at the Mantis aliens, one of the most mysterious races in the galaxy.